Welcome back to One Sober to Another. I'm Wayne, and I'm an alcoholic. You don't have to be an alcoholic or an addict or even sober to get something from this channel. I want to welcome everyone who's subscribed so far, and if you haven't taken the time, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of the daily reflections, as well as all the amazing stuff that we put out there to the universe. Today's daily reflection for December 20th, 2020, the reward of giving. Let's go. All right, you amazing folks. I hope you enjoyed today's physical fitness video. It's normally not my style. However, I did feel that, physical fitness is part of what keeps me sober. And I thought I'd share my routine with you just to see what you think. I don't know, drop some comments below. Maybe you could pick something up from it. Definitely some of my technique was off. I don't apologize, I'll just correct it in the future. I hope you guys like. This is indeed the kind of giving that actually demands nothing. He does not expect his brother sufferer to pay him or even to love him. And then he discovers that by the divine paradox of this kind of giving, he has found his own reward, whether his brother has yet received anything or not. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 109. Through experience with 12-step work, I came to understand the rewards of giving that demands nothing in return. At first, I expected recovery in others, but I soon learned that this did not happen. Once I acquired the humility to accept the fact that every 12-step call was not going to result in a success, then I was open to receive the rewards of selfless giving. You know what's fitting for this? Bill Wilson and Dr. Bob. If you have not taken the time to read their stories, I encourage you. Look them up in the big book, the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. There's movies on Bill Wilson. There's plenty of literature out there that you can get a hold of in order to read up on who these two co-founders of Alcoholics Anonymous are and how they sprung from the Oxford group. I'm not going to go into that too much. What I wanted to point out is that when Bill Wilson got sober, when he found sobriety, when he discovered this divine action that relieved the obsession of alcohol from him, he wanted to spread it so badly that he was pulling drunks out of bars and everything else and putting them in his house. And his wife Lois would always take care of them and take care of Bill as well, just like she did during his drinking days. So Dr. Bob needed some help, right? And Dr. Bob thought that he was so far gone and so pathetic that there was no helping that drunken fool. He was also a surgeon, by the way, which was kind of ironic because most of us are functioning alcoholics anyway. But I don't want to go too far left or too far right of this story. So Bill Wilson tried to help Dr. Bob initially. And he went to him, spoke to him, told him what had happened to him, his story. And that's where the whole daily reflections for me came from the other day, being honest with newcomers. And he told him his story and thought it took and thought he saved him and thought he, conquered the world and everything else. But what happened is that Dr. Bob went right back to the drink. It didn't work the first time. It didn't take. And Bill Wilson gave freely of himself. And Bill Wilson, told his story and told his success and told his higher power intervention and everything else. And, he didn't succeed with Dr. Bob at first. And at first, so he was discouraged. And later on, Dr. Bob would ultimately come to get sober, come to experience the same thing sort of that Bill Wilson did, and together they founded Alcoholics Anonymous. That's pretty daggone cool in my book. This is indeed the kind of giving that actually demands nothing. You know what? If we are selfless, if I'm selfless about what I'm doing, if you go through your day and you give of yourself without asking for anything in return, the rewards internally and spiritually are much greater than anything that somebody could just hand you. It is my experience that, you know, just getting someone a cup of coffee, or just getting, you know, opening a door for somebody, or perhaps giving them a card that they didn't expect, or giving them my experience, you know, with a story that could possibly help them, and also my time. You know, I will offer my time to anyone that needs it, and as long as I do that without expecting anything in return, I get to experience this 12-step work, and I get to be a part of something bigger than myself. Because believe it or not, folks, that is what's going to keep me sober, and that's what's going to keep you sober as well, if you are indeed an AAer. And if you're not, you could always use this same philosophy of being selfless in order to gain things spiritually and emotionally, and things that you never carried with you in your active diseases. Addiction, alcoholism, gambling, sex addiction, whatever it is. All of it involves being selfish. And if we go beyond and push outward, and we give outwardly, and we allow others to receive something freely, then we are being of service. And they don't even have to love us. You know, my friend that I told you about yesterday, he doesn't have to love me for the harsh, rigorous honesty that I give to him, because in part, through my story and my experience, it is actually kind of my obligation as somebody who is living in sobriety to pass on to somebody who is suffering, to be honest with them. And I will be honest with newcomers, and I will be honest with you here on One Sober to Another. And you don't have to love me. You don't have to like me. But if I'm telling you the truth, then maybe a little respect will happen, as well as, well, let me rephrase that. That came out really dumb. If I tell you exactly what's real, then perhaps later on you'll see that it wasn't such a criticism that you took it as. Experience the 12-step work. I came to understand the rewards of giving that demands nothing in return. At first I expected recovery in others, but I soon learned that this did not happen. I told you that quick story of Bill Wilson and Dr. Bob, and I may have missed a little details, so if I did, just drop those below so someone else can get some of that. And I'll leave a link below for Bill Wilson's story as well. I lost my thought, people. How did I do that? Oh, I'm an alcoholic. So, oh yeah. So I thought my two people that I told you that did not make it those first times, initially trying to get sober when I was sponsoring them, I felt really bad about it, and I felt like I failed, and I felt like I didn't save them like I was supposed to, and they didn't get the miracle that I got. And I was really frustrated about it, and I felt really bad about it, and it took some time, but you know, this too shall pass, and I realized that it's not my fault. I gave them my experience, strength, and hope. I showed them some things that they could do, and it wasn't their time yet, people. It wasn't their time yet. But later on, you know, one came back, and you know, 50% I guess is better than zero, and he's still sober. But so we can't save everybody, folks. And when you get sober, or when I got sober, I felt like I was going to take on the world and save everybody in it. And that's just not the case. But as long as we give freely, folks, and that's today's daily reflection, the reward of giving, then we are being of purpose, and we are doing our job, or rather doing our diligence to try to pass along the message of sobriety to folks who are still suffering, even though they might not recognize it. I'm one sober to another. That's food for thought. I definitely rambled a little bit, but have a good day. I hope you're enjoying your Sunday. If you need anything from me, folks, just hit me up with a DM on Instagram, Reddit, Twitter, or even on Facebook. And all those links are below. Feel free. I'm like a sponge. I'll absorb whatever you give me. It doesn't matter what kind of bull crap you're spitting out. You know, if you are down and out and you need to talk, hit me up. I'm ready to listen. So, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bam. Bye-bye.